Hello. Hello, welcome along. It's been a little while, and my voice is a bit shaky. Yeah. How's everyone? Welcome along. Welcome in. Happy Thursday to everyone. Hope you're all well. Hope you're all well stuck into the Christmas shopping and all that kind of stuff well underway. It's a little bit of a It's been a busy couple of weeks catching up on various other things over the last while now. And hey, Prezida, how are you? Welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, it's been a busy couple of weeks, and since I finished the tool jam, and I was kind of like, I was doing some tutorials for the Blitz for the Amiga tool jam there a while ago. That's finished. The results will be out in a while, I'm sure. And that's it. So so that's it. So back to working on my blinking Amigas. But yeah, welcome in. Good evening. I know I have my fancy little borders and stuff like that set up here, and I'm going to be kind of switching between a few different things here. So some of it is not going to look as pretty, I know, because hey, Midwan, there you go. Oh, excellent. You're most welcome, and I'm glad it all got sorted out and everything like that. It was So there've been a few updates actually. So Mid one there, welcome in. It had a board that was having problems with the other clock ports and with USB, I think it was. And so I found the problem with that, and that was a new board. There are a couple of other issues. Bill's one was one of the first boards, one of the first prototype boards. Well, not prototype. That was it. Yeah, so there were some serious shenanigans going on there. But yeah, Bill's board was just so old. The firmware was like about 5 versions out of date or something like that. So I said I'd walk him through it just to make sure, because he wasn't too confident in it. So I just made sure, just walked him through it all, and it all went fine. So I'm happy out. But he seems to be enjoying it, because he'd never actually used the software. I had set him up with one pattern, and that's how he'd kept it, and that's it. That's how it's been for the last couple of years. But now he seems very happy with it. But so the latest board has hopefully the issues all sorted out. So sorted out for Mid one there. I think all those issues are sorted out. So there are 2 issues left on the board. One of them isn't really the end user's concern. It's just kind of the fan speeds are very sensitive, and basically means that each board has to be tuned manually before, during testing. So it's annoying for me, but to the end users it doesn't matter. Once it's done, and it doesn't need to change then. So at some point I'll change it to a different type of speed control, and it will work better. But the other issue is, and I think Predzada, you have this issue, is with the real-time clock not working. And that's something I'm going to fix, hopefully today. Now, the thing is, the problem is that it is a problem. It's a combination of things, and it is a problem on the board. Basically, it's a fundamental design thing. So it will need a new board as well. So there is the workaround that I posted on the Discord. That workaround, which basically involves cutting a track and soldering 2 connections together, what that does is that disables the support for a real-time clock on Solas completely. It just disables it and lets you use whatever clock is on the accelerator board, and that's fine. What I have done now is I've modified one of my boards to let me switch that on and off in software. So I haven't tested it yet, but basically because the actual Amiga software doesn't support it. But that's what I'm going to do today and this evening is hopefully add that as an option to the software. So it would need modifications to your board. So I can swap your board for a newer one, Predzada, or you can do that modification up to you. Not a huge deal. But yeah, so that's where we are. But yeah, so so this is the current board. And Midway, I know this is the one that you have, and so far as I know, have you? I think it checks network. It's Darren. You're going to put the Solas into PyStorm. Okay, that should be fine. Yeah, and that should be fine. But see, if you do that soldering thing, or or cut that track, or the solder connection and cut the track, that should just sort out the clock anyway. So it should, but yeah, because I don't think the PyStorm has a real-time clock, does it? The PyStorm should be fine with that setup. It's only an issue that shows up with certain accelerators, so which is how I didn't catch it. Okay. I'd be interested to see how that works, because this issue only showed up with certain accelerators. Where, see, what's happening is, right, on the Solas board, you've got a buffer here, and that pumping going on in the background here. So you've got a buffer here, and what that does is that will basically buffer that will buffer the signals going in and out of the Solas board. Now, that's all well and good. It's activated whenever something accesses the clock port, which is fine. That's kind of what you want it to do. The problem is that there are certain accelerators, and what they do is, it normally, or kind of ideally what they should do is, if they have a clock on board, they sort of absorb that address, and it doesn't get to the motherboard. It doesn't, so the motherboard doesn't do anything. So, so it's only the clock that's on the accelerator that does that. Now, the 030 accelerator that I tested this with, of course, does that, but other ones don't, and it was kind of annoying, because what happens then is you get a clash on the board, and it would be the same thing if you had, a clock module, like if you had one of these little guys, if you put one of those on the motherboard and had one on your accelerator, normally that should work, but for certain accelerators, it accesses both at the same time, which is not really, not ideal. And what'll happen is they clash, and you end up getting garbage, and that's why the clock reads wrong. Now, it's compounded on Solas because there's a buffer there. So even if you don't have the module on it, so there's the module installed there, but even if you don't have the module, the buffer still activates. And what happens is then it's driving basically noise onto the bus, and that reads as weird data, yeah. Aha. So I might look at that, but I'll see what the story is there, because I don't know whether the PyStorm, because it's an optional board, it might still activate the motherboard address bus as well for that address range, and then you might end up with the same situation. I haven't heard anyone back, but can you tell me, actually, Midone, you've been testing it there, does the real-time clock work with yours, or do you have that optional board? What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that and save it for later. Yeah, I'm gonna have a read of that later on. But yeah, if you do have that expansion board, let me know if it works. But otherwise, okay, cool. That'd be good to know. Because I know you've just got this replacement board. I might have to swap it out again, because it's a substantial change to it to add this feature, and it's kind of like, it could be patched with wires, but it's a mess. There's several wires involved. But anyways, yeah. So there you go. It's it's always a problem. But see, this version of the board, or the next version of the board, is probably another month or two away. This is kind of, it still literally is a half a dozen patch wires on an existing board, so it's not kind of ready for replacing just yet. But yeah. Okay, but yeah, so what I have done is I've done some firmware work, but I haven't tested it because I had no option for enabling it in the software, and I could manually enable it, but I haven't done that yet, or haven't tried it. So we'll go all in and we'll try it on the Amiga. So this is my development Amiga 1200. Actually, I think I have. Now it's going to be a little bit less pretty. Oh no, not that one. Dun, dun. What did I have? Oh, that one, which is kind of messy. But there we go. You can see the this little camera here. I'm going to move that out of the way over here a bit. And dun, dun, dun. Oh, come on. Where is it? 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 Oh, no, sorry. That's that one. You couldn't see that. Okay, so let's move that up over here. So this is my development machine. So just so you can see it. And that's what I'm actually working on now. So that's what I'm coding on at the moment. The cooler is mounted directly on an 060. That's a TF1260 that's in there. See, so this is my main kind of hardware test machine. That's a 1260. This is, and it's the heatsink is just kind of one I had lying around, and I machined it down. Just it's overkill, to be honest, because I'd never really run it overclocked. But you know, it does run at 94 megahertz with that cooler on it, which is nice. But yeah, so that's how it looks at the moment. I'm going to yeah, so that's a 1260 at the moment. It's running reasonably cool. I'm gonna see. Well, we can still just leave it there for now. What I'm gonna do is let's go over here. Actually, I have to connect it up to tell you what temperature it is. Okay, that should be it. And if we check here, we can see that oh, the core temperature is off. Let me see. That's oh, this feels. I'm doing this through OBS, and it's slightly laggy. You know, it feels awkward. So I just know the offset for this CPU is 91. Okay, so but anyway, the heatsink temperature there, this is running 50 megahertz, is about 30 degrees, and the core temperature is 38 degrees, which is quite cool as CPUs go, you know. So but that's at a 50 megahertz. It will obviously warm up a bit more. Okay, so anyway, what I'll do is I'll switch back, and we'll do a little bit of coding in this software to give it an option. So we can see here we've got some board settings here. So all I'm going to do is add a new checkbox here. Excuse me. So we've currently got two settings that are to do with the board, kind of without any other just to do with the board in general. And I'm going to add another checkbox over here that disables the real-time clock. So that's what it'll be. Okay, and to do that, I will so it doesn't emulate the standard RTC. Okay, well then you won't have a problem. In simple terms, that is it's so okay. So it's got an I2C clock on it, and so it just does it its own separate way. Okay, that's cool. That's good information. Thanks for that. Perfect. Yeah. So there's no clash. I thought a lot of accelerators, they emulate the onboard address, and that's how you get a clash, because you have two at the same address, and normally they cut off the motherboard one. The Blizzard 1230 doesn't, for whatever reason. But there you go. So anyways, Yeah, so that's good. So it'll work with PyStorm. Good to know. Thanks for that. But so this is a kind of a niche fix for certain accelerators, basically. PredZ, I think you have a 1230, a Blizzard 1230, isn't that right? And so you're having that issue. Oh no, you're saying there you have you have a TF1260. Did you not say that? Yeah. Okay. So your time thing. So oh, you Solas. Okay, you got two machines. Okay, I'm I see now. I see now. I'm confused. So it's a Blizzard 1230 with the real-time clock. Yes. There we go. I'm not going crazy. That's it. Okay, anyway, so that's what I'm going to do today is I'm going to add an extra checkbox here in the board config section, and it will give me the option to switch off the real-time clock support. Super Dan, good evening. Good evening. This is Dan off of all the game jams and the tool jam and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, see that's the thing. It's the TF1260 not having the RTC on board is deliberately why I added support for the real-time clock on Solas, so that you can add it here, you know, and so because I didn't have it on the accelerator, and I like to have a real-time clock. So yeah, there you go. But yeah, that's Dan. Welcome in of the tool jam and the game jam, and it's finished now. But there's the so don't join it anymore. But there's the details of the Amiga tool jam. Results will be out sometime soon, I believe, Dan. They're going to be. I know Amiga Build was involved. I don't know if it's going to be streamed or what the crack is. Maybe you can fill us in. But yeah, I've got a couple of entries in. I might get a T-shirt out of it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, right. I'm going to switch back to my other one here. Okay. Aha. I think a tool jam is going to be a lot more difficult to judge, to be honest. You know, kind of using a tool is going to be, it's kind of something you need to sort of actually sit down and use, if that makes sense. I know you sit down and play a game and you can spend some time at it, but to actually sort of, especially some of them where you have to kind of put them into a workflow to kind of understand them, I think. So we'll see how that goes. Excellent. Okay, so here's our Solas, our main Solas software here. Apples and broccolis. I'm going to use that in a work meeting now at some point. Solas Control 0.11, which I think is the current version. Let me just check that. Oh, this is 3.1. I think it is. So I need to update that to 3.2, really, don't I? Give me 2 seconds. I just have to check something. Check what versions are on. 0.11 is the latest software. That's right. Okay. Now, where have you guys gone? There you are. So, starting new software. 07 of 12. Because I have a special limited edition TF1260. I have a unique TF1260 that only has 64 megabytes fitted. None of your fancy 128 megabyte boards for me. Yeah, so I basically, because I live around the corner, or used to live around the corner from Terrible Fire, and one day he kind of said, I've got enough spare bits sitting on my desk for a TF1260. Do you want one? And I'll swap you for a Solas. And I said yes. And so I went around to him. He gave me the board without the CPU, and he said I only had 64 megabytes of RAM. So I'm like, fine, here's the Solas, and there we go. So that's where that board came from. So it is a 64 megabyte card. So yeah, 48 megabytes free. Yeah, I know. Like Blitz 3 takes up quite a bit of RAM. That's probably it. You know, when it starts up, I'm trying to think what else I have running on it. There's a few things, nothing, not a huge amount going on there, but it's there's lots of shouting going on. But yeah, it's I think. Oh dear, things are kicking off. Tired kids, you know. But yeah, I think Amiga Blitz 3 takes like 6 or 8 megabytes, and then the rest was probably just like loading extra modules from disk and stuff like that. So it's not optimal, of course, but if your RAM is sitting there free, then you're not using it, you know. So yeah, I probably have loads of disk buffers actually as well. Let me see what it says. New clue, new CLI. Oh. 120 buffers, and it's probably a large block size. Yeah, I'm probably eating up a chunk of RAM on my disk buffers as well. But anyways, there you go. So, new version of software. Now the actual GUI that we need are we've got a separate file here that has all the GUI code in it. And I'm not sure if this has the constants. It does have the constants. Now, we have to find config. Let me see. Quite a lot of gadgets in this software. Quite a complex setup. Okay, here we are. Config. Label. Okay. Backlight label config. Group tabs. Config group board settings. Do I use any external PC keyboard? Well, no, actually. I'll show you now. That's what my desk looks like. It's an A1200 keyboard with my, that I'm just using that and the PC keyboard. So half this stream is going to be spent typing on the wrong keyboard. I do actually have I had experimentally set up on my main 1200. I have Synergy set up, and I can just use it like a double tap of the mouse against the side of the screen from the PC, and it transfers PC and keyboard over the network. I don't have it set up on this one, and I'm not entirely sure how quick it would be. You know, the other one, I know they're both 060s, but the one in the tower has a graphics card, it has a network card. You know, it has a SCSI setup, has more resources and stuff. Oh dear. Anyway. Okay, so I have to try and figure this out now. Okay, so we have groups there. Do we have the actual settings? Board settings. Group label reset with host and reset with host are there. So config group reset with host. So I need 3 more IDs. So because basically how this is done is you need a label, you need the gadget itself, and you need a blank space, and you need a group to put them in. So I actually need 4 new IDs. Label. So I find somewhere to stick them in. Because I try to leave gaps in the IDs just to just to give a bit of space. Well, what I'll do is I'll add them in here. 225, 226, 227, 228. There's no enum function or functionality in Blitz, and it's something I'd like. You know, it would be nice just to stick extra stuff in. But maybe for a future version I might suggest it. Okay, so config, what's it called? RTC disable. What? 218. And we give a label for that. Label. The E key is a little bit funky on this keyboard, and then a group. And we also need a spacer. Do I have any spaces defined? Config. No, let me see. Config group. So I have to figure out how the group is actually constructed up there. So the board settings group. Ooh. I'm a little bit... there's all my spacers there. A little bit out of touch with this code because I haven't worked on it in a while, you know, and you get used to these things. So they're all the main. Okay, so where's our config window? Config. Okay, so main label firmware group reset with host. Okay, so basically we're going to copy this kind of group and we're going to add that. Add objects v group board settings config label reset with host. What is in that reset? Oh, there's a main H space. Okay, so there's a spacer there. Okay, so we're going to add basically very, very similar to that again. So I'm just going to copy and paste all that. And config label. That's what I called it, isn't it? Disable RTC support. And the reason I'm going with disable is because I kind of like want the default to be that it's enabled. So it's kind of a minority of people who have to disable it. So that's kind of why I'm doing it. And as well as that, internally, that means that there's backwards compatibility because it's using a bit that's left as 0. And at that kind of level, I'd have to invert the bit just to, and I know it's just inverting a bit. It's just for neatness, I'm leaving it that way in the firmware. I can show you what it looks like in the firmware in a minute. So I've done the firmware code already. I just haven't tested it, so I just don't know what it's going to do. But we'll check that out in a little while. So we don't need these two lines here. So we've got, this is our checkbox and the actual text label for it. Config group. So we'll add to that group and then we create the group RTC disable. So we're going to give it a RTC disable. Where does the label? Config reset with host. Group. Objects H group. Reset with host. Okay, put the label in there. Okay. Okay, you know what? We're going to have to add them to the same group. I think. We're going to throw them in somewhere anyway, and then see what it looks like. And if we need more spacers, we'll sort that out when we get there. Okay, let me see. So we've got RTC disable and config. And we don't have any spacers at the moment, but what we need is the label is on the right, isn't it? So we probably will need a spacer there, or well, we'll see what it looks like. Add tags, columns, board settings. Okay, board settings. Reset with host. So the group reset with host goes there. Group reset with host, label reset with host. Okay, so what we need to do, we're just gonna leave a bit of space here. We'll see. Watch it crash and burn now. Watch it crash and burn. Because MUI is particularly tricky, because normally Blitz is quite good at catching runtime errors and before they crash the machine. But MUI doesn't really pass any of that through. So if the mistake is actually in your code, that's fine. But a lot of what MUI does is within the MUI library itself and outside of Blitz's control. So when Blitz doesn't know whether an address is a legitimate address for a gadget or for a list or for a label, so these kind of, it's very, very easy to mess it up basically, and there's no safety net. So quite often you just end up crashing. So what I've done is I've moved that down. Scrolling's quite clunky. Well, were you using the debugger? Because the I find the Blitz debugger to be quite good. Now, yeah, it's definitely not Amos and things like AREX and stuff like that are very much more robust. They don't let you do nearly as much messing about with memory and stuff like that. So, so there is a bit, Blitz kind of has a bit of stuff in it that's quite like C, as in, if you wanted to, you can just use it in a very, very direct way, directly accessing the OS or the hardware. It's a double-edged sword, advantages and disadvantages. But okay, so we've got that group, and we're going to add the real-time clock disable group to that group. Now let's see what that looks like when we compile it. Well, that's compiling. It hasn't crashed yet, and it's found the board. Okay. Oh, we've got no LEDs on actually. Let's run some LEDs. So, new feature of the software: you can load an entire configuration. So now I have this set of settings that can be sent to the board to, that's usually what's stored in Flash. And there, yes, the lights are working now. Okay. So now let's see what happens if we open this window. Board. Now, see what's happened here is it's after overwriting a load of memory here, and so I'm surprised the machine is still running. But there we go. Something bad has happened there. So go back and we have a look. and see what's happened. Add objects, reset with host. Oh. I disabled the wrong ones. That's why. So it added a group that didn't exist. And so it mapped it to probably to 0 memory, and watch it fall on its arse now as soon as I try to compile again or do something. Let's see what it does. It's working. Oh, I don't have my crash counter. Yeah, see, it's gotten itself stuck now. It won't open the window. Okay, bear with me just a second, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to find my crash counter. There's my crash counter. Now. Yeah. So, let's see. Bear with me. What am I doing here? Stream capture. Yeah, there we go. And there we go. There's my crash counter. And now, because it has crashed, we can... oh dear. There we go. So, no debug output. Then that's frozen as soon as the code started executing. Hasn't even given me anything. Yeah, true. But I always save before running anything, because yeah. Okay, so let's reboot that. I can't reboot from this keyboard, but I'll show you what is actually happening here. Oh no. Well, there's my reset button. Okay, let's see what's happening. Give it a second to get itself back together. Okay, so there you go, 57 megs free on boot there. So yeah, there's still 7 megs gone or so. 48. So yeah, so Amiga Blitz 3 is taking about 9. Yeah. This poor Amiga has been through a lot. It takes some amount of abuse. Yeah, that's it. It earns its money, and then I torture it by putting it on a plane sometimes and bringing it places. Okay, we'll just try and run this again, because you know, that could have been kind of like the aftermath of the previous terribleness. Oh, my debugger's not switched on, is it? No, well, there you go. But yeah, it wouldn't have saved me from the last one, because I just know that was a bad movie setup. For anyone who watches when I stream on WinUAE, it's a lot slower, isn't it? And this is an 060. No, something else going on then. It hasn't opened the window. It dead. And there you go. So the debugger's running, but the debugger hasn't caught it. Oh no, it can't even generate the window, it seems. It has just killed itself. Oh dear indeed. But anyways, yeah, this is the joy of and the thing is, I have to develop on the real hardware. So right. Yeah, I'm gonna need a pint. Absolutely. But yeah, you have to develop on the real hardware, you see. So you know, I can't really do the software anywhere else, because it has to access the Solas. 4.5, yeah, as OS 3.1.4 is a bit chip RAM hungry, and I haven't installed any of the patches for that. I just haven't bothered, like, so because I just changed it about a bit. So the intention was always to update this to 3.2, which is a lot better with chip RAM, and you know, the P96 native driver. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to go back into here. yeah, absolutely. Yeah, maybe at some point I'll get one, because that would be nice fast compile. So let's just make sure I haven't done something stupid like doubling up on a constant or something like that. Have I? Config. Oh, look at this. Okay, that could have been the problem as well, because a group is its own separate object. It's a parent of that, so that's like an infinite thing there, where an object was its own parent. Oh dear, oh dear. Let's try that. Ah, love of God. That wasn't it either. What is going on? Oh dear. We're rapidly approaching 10. I will actually go and get a beer if this hits 10. Can't be taking this. Oh, nice. Well, I'm kind of like trying to limit myself, because I've had a big work Christmas party last Friday. I have another one tomorrow, and hey, I'm Immortal. Welcome in. How are you? Just saying, I'm getting some crashes in rapid succession here, so it won't be long before I'm reaching for the booze. I'm trying to hold off until tomorrow, because it's the second work Christmas party tomorrow. But this is already killing me. Okay. Oh, he was probably born after it went bust. Would I be right? Like, I've got guys working on my team who were born in like 1999 and 2000. I'm like, oh my God. Like, legitimately don't remember floppy disks. Oh dear. And he was having none of it, I take it. He's just, oh yeah, antique. He's like, no, you don't understand. This is great. 2 to 6. I changed these IDs. They don't seem to be overlapping anything. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, oh, look at these cool coasters. I actually used a floppy disk as a beer mat when I had done a presentation in uni for my like my final year project. I had to do a presentation on it, and you know, got all dressed up and went in, and I had my presentation on a floppy disk. I went in, put it in, made my presentation, straight off to the uni bar, and used that as put a pint on the disc, and that was it's 2 and 8 again. 2 and 8. You're right. Oh my God. Oh. This is what I was saying. I need an enum function, or an enum class for this stuff, because, you know, that would do this stuff automatically. Thank you for that. Yeah, okay, let's see. Has that fixed it? Will we give it another go? Let me see. Let's see what happens. Come on, you bastard. That's exactly what's wrong with me. That's exactly what's wrong. Yeah, there was probably a couple of three objects there with the same ID. So one is a parent of itself and its own daughter as well. It's getting very religious. Oh, surely PT-1210 should have amazed him or impressed him at somehow or other. Yeah, no. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Oh, look at that! Look at that! It all fits and works. It's the wrong way around, but it works. Ah, there we go. I just need to swap the order of those two, and that'll do. I think. Ah, cool. Well, that's something anyway. You know, you can say, well, that's from like 30 something years ago. Hmm. Ah, good stuff. Good stuff. Does he DJ on vinyl? Because you could get him an El Hoffman vinyl for Christmas, or get her to get him a Hoffman vinyl. Oh yeah. Oh, there's a high score competition, Turbo Santa. If anyone's interested in that, some boxed copies of Rogue Declan being given away. But yeah, I have the Hoffman vinyl at home. It's quite good, quite good. I like it. But it's really funny because you know you listen to a vinyl and there's you know just music from what's it called, from the Eon demo comes on. You're like, oh, cool. It's very cool. Four. Um, okay, cool. Fair play. Are they going straight on eBay or what? Why have you ordered four of them? Oh, why are you still here? Oh, okay, fair enough, right. It's not four, you know, just you can have four of them on a shelf. No. Cool. Good stuff. It is a great game. It is. So, now I just need to swap the order of these. Now, I don't know why this window stayed here. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Cami, welcome in. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good morning. Hope all's well. You've joined us. We've had 3 crashes in rapid succession. So and basically through typos or through silliness. So sorted now anyway. Oh no, I didn't mean to press that. Apologies as well. I'm using this through through OBS here, and I'm seeing that there are like lines. Some of the scaling isn't quite right on it. It's just, sorry about that. The capture card is just not quite getting the hang of the native Amiga output. So it's 90% there, which is pretty cool, but it's not quite great. Yeah, all good here. Hey, Javier, welcome in, welcome in. There's a different program. I'm working on my Solas software here, which is software for a hardware board. I could just switch. Oh, wrong mouse. So what is it? Is it that one? Yeah, that one. There's my Amiga 1200 along with my Solas board. You can't see the pointer because it goes behind there, but the blue board in the middle of the 1200 there is my Solas board, and that is running those lights at the back. So I'm working on the software for that now. This is part of the stream. What hardware am I using? I am using an AverMedia something. I know that's terrible. Let me just see if I can find it from this. No, I can't. Yes, Knight Rider indeed. It's an AverMedia VGA and HDMI capture card, and it was one of the last ones that still had a VGA input on it, and it works quite well. Now, it does have problems with when you're playing games on it. It sometimes doesn't like it. It's right on the edge of what it accepts. So this is an interlaced screen and it seems to accept it fine. When I'm streaming games, I would usually output from a scan doubler, because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes, the screen mode will change and it will just decide, it'll just give up. It won't like it anymore. So it's not perfect, but it's surprisingly good considering it's not supposed to support it at all. So yeah, it is quite good, and it does HDMI. So I can run a cheap HDMI converter through it when lag doesn't really matter, So that's it. But because I have two outputs on that Amiga, I have a scan doubler in there as well. I can output to a monitor, and the stream can be a few frames behind, and it doesn't affect it, So I can still play it or still use it fine. It feels weird now that I'm not using that. But what's the thing with the blue sticker? It's not actually a sticker. It's an LCD. That thing there. It's just an LCD module. I can show you that. Let's see. Well, I'm just going to swap this round. What I'll do is I'll show you that now in a second. Let's move that out over here so I can actually see what I'm doing. But yeah, the capture cards, they're like monitors, I suppose. They're designed to take VGA or HDMI nowadays. So this one does both. So it does take the HDMI adapter as well, which is quite nice to have that option. And yeah, it works fine like that. So what I'm doing now is I'm writing the software, or I'm updating the software for that circuit board that's running the lights. I'll show you now in a second. You can see it in action now in a second. Wait till you see. What am I doing here? Oh yeah, I'm swapping around the order of these settings. It's just a label setting. So there's a lot of MUI stuff here. Reset with host. Okay, it's up here. RTC disable, config, label, RTC disable. So we're just swapping the label and the actual checkbox. That should be it. And now we'll compile it and I can show you what it does. Oh, nice. Yeah, if it has component and composite, then absolutely it'll work perfectly. Yeah. That's a nice combination as well, and having HDMI in it is nice for the modern stuff. The one I have won't go above 1080p, but sure, like, I'm like, even my main display is only a 1920 by 1200, so. Well, let's see. Hopefully we don't get any magic smoke or anything like that, but let's see what happens. Let's compile it, and here's the software. And so, well, I'll move this down here. And we'll move this across here. Oh, no, not that one. That one. Let's move that here. And so this software is controlling those lights up there. So you can see the way this is set to red. So I can change that to green, let's say. And now it's green. And you can change the speed of it. And that's it. So so this is kind of like, this was my lockdown project. There's a couple of people in the chat here that have them. It is like Blitz. This is the thing, is it's part of why I it's part of what. Why is my chat out there? Oh, because I was messing around with stuff. It's part of why I did the tool jam in Blitz, because it just, I wanted to demonstrate what it can do, and. There you go. So this software, that you can see there is a lot of stuff in it, and that's all done in Blitz. So now, so that is what the software looks like. Now, here is the LCD. That's what I was. Oh yeah, we can drive the LEDs from sound as well. So but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this LCD working just to show Zeta there, because this particular one is this, and I'm just gonna set it up as a 20x4. So it wasn't set up, and that's why it wasn't running. But let's do something like that, and we'll apply that. And has that? Oh, it hasn't worked. Grove Seed. Oh, it's the wrong type of LCD. Yeah. So it supports different types, and they all have their own sort of protocols and stuff. Now you can see it's turned yellow, and that's kind of what it does there. Oh, where's the camera? Where's the camera? Oh, and it won't focus. It won't focus. But you get the idea. And it will update those basically. So that's all run from the board there. Ha! You serious? It's probably because it's so low level. It's very, very ghetto. Like, it takes the audio. You can see a little wire that goes along here from the modulator there into my board, and that is where the that is how it detects the audio. It doesn't involve the Amiga or the operating system or anything at all, which is probably where your PC, what your PC motherboard is doing, is, you know, using going through the proper channels, I suppose. But yeah, there you go. Well, just as a demonstration of that, let's just give it a demonstration. Let's open a music player here. Did that work? There it is. Oh dear. Come over there. Is it? It's not something I have on any of my PCs, so I don't know myself. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if my audio is hooked up for this. Let's see if I can do that. Where's my capture audio cables? Let's see if this even works. Let's see. Do I have? I do. Okay. Let's swap over the audio here for a second. Bear with me. So we're going to make it quiet. And maybe this will work. Let's see. Let us see. Where am I going? I can't even remember. Where does it work? Sound. Bum bum bum. Dun dun dun. I can't see. Do I have a Hoffman folder? I do, actually. What do we listen to? Dum dum dum. Yep, that's the one I was thinking of earlier. Now, I'm not sure I can hear that. So, bear with me a second. Oh, there it is. It's just a bit low. Let me see if I can pull that up. Okay, there we go. Now, here's the fun bit. Is we can make that apply to that. Should do. Why is that not working? Because I haven't connected the cable, that's why. I have this machine apart so much and have those boards out of there so much that, yeah. And there's another trick you can do. VU meter. So now this will turn green and then yellow and red when it gets to the peak audio. This is one of the new features of the software. I had to make sure this wasn't coming out of the stereo as well. Keep waking up everyone. I'm going to update the sensitivity a bit just so you can see it peaking. So you see it's getting red at the ends there. It's over saturating the camera, so we turn it down a bit. That was your feature. There you go. Update your firmware and you'll have it. Now. Is that too loud for you guys? Can you hear me okay? Cool. Okay. Yeah, I know it's music. I'm hearing it and it's quite loud, but I have no feedback on the stream. You see, so I can't tell you. But basically, that's it. If it's peaking, if it's not peaking much, if you drop this, see this setting here, Andrew, this one here, the size. That's your decay level. So if it just peaks very quickly, it might not be sort of, it might not be sampling at the right points. So this sort of spreads out the sample a little bit. So you can see the effect if I drop that like down halfway, let's say, and apply that. It's less kind of jittery. So it'll go and it'll slow down. So that size is kind of the size of the decay. That it hardly moves at all and stays up quite high all the time. I think it's also, just looking at it on the screen there, it won't be perfectly in time because of the lag in the input capture. Because I'm inputting through the sound card and capturing through the capture card. I'm not capturing sound through the capture card, if you like, so they're not in sync. Maybe. If only. But yeah, so that might change. It'll change the behavior, the responsiveness of it anyway. That size setting. But anyway, so that's a little overview of the Solas, and you can see the new modes. That's level spread. Level meter does the same thing. We're going to listen to this again. Let's put on every way. And does the same thing. The VU meter going from the side, and it'll turn yellow sort of halfway across, if you get me. And turn red and left. I think you can reverse the direction. Actually, you know what? I don't think I've tested this. Oh, you can, yeah. Reverse the direction as well. No. Basically, yeah, it's you can't have a background because I've only got 2 sort of slots for colour settings, and yeah, so one side got you've got your primary and secondary colour. So what you're doing with the VU meter is you're taking the secondary colour and mixing towards that. So the first part of the graph is this, the second part of that is that. So it's sorry, yeah. So where are we going? That's even peeking on my line in. Yeah, so that's what was I saying now? But yeah, so you've only got basically 2 color slots. It's a little bit tricky to be able to add a third one, and I could hard code it to be red at the peak, but I'd have to hard code the brightness as well, and that's just a tricky thing to do. Leave it with me because there was something else I thought, it would be nice to have a third color selector for it, and I can't remember what it was now. There was some other pattern that I kind of thought, okay, if we had another input, because you can also set there is another RGB input for the LCD. But hey Dave, welcome in. It is good, isn't it? But I'm sure you can just turn up your stereo. But yeah, so there you go. So that's the Solas, what it's doing, the latest software. Now we've got our new checkbox. This is what we wanted. Yeah, thanks very much. So we've got that was Predzadek is the one who requested that VU meter setting. I'm Immortal requested the Solas board, so you can thank the 2 of those guys. Anyways, there we go. You know what? Let's just add like a whole. Yeah, no. Is that repeating the same one song? Oh no, it's not. Did you got the LED strips? Yeah, you got 2 extra LED strips. Because I have a second LED strip here. I'm going to do that just for. And so you've got your second LED strip there. Let's see, what were we doing? Yeah, cool. So then strip 2, you can just have doing something like that, or like my Christmas tree. Yes, there we go. My Duff Beer Christmas tree. Sorry, I didn't see the shirt. I like your Christmas tree, I saw. Yes, it's quality. I'll be wearing this all the time now. So, oh yeah, I haven't got the second LED strip turned on. So don't panic. There we go. Well, where I have that strip there might do the job. It is hella bright. But yeah, like even if that was like turn down that way. Yeah, facing down out the vents might be yeah, that might work quite well, just to illuminate the desk. Yeah, absolutely. So, and then you've got, because you've got two strips, then it will work well, like when the music stops and the first one, like the second one keeps going. Yeah. Yeah, so you can set the two strips are basically completely independent. Well, this is what happened over lockdown. I actually had lots of time, basically, and yeah, I'm not gonna listen to that again. Let's switch back to the other one. Yeah, it was kind of. It started off just because Andrew wanted to run extra power, and then said, can we put like an LED strip in there? And I'm like, yeah. You know what? I've been researching this clock port. I'm going to. I'm sure I can rig a way of controlling these LED strips, and I needed a project, and so that's what happened. So yeah. I'm just looking at my LED strips there. Something's not quite right there because there's a bit of green in that, and I don't have any green set here. That's weird. So green works fine. But the red and blue have chunks of green in them. It's as if the green is set at the background. Let's see, why is that? Why is that? Let's turn off that. Well, what about something like that? Oh, it's bright. I don't know why this is putting green in the background of those patterns, but there's some red and blue. Or we're going to drop this down a bit. There's some proper Christmas lights. They do seem to be working fine. I don't know why it was getting green there. Now there maybe there's a bug after creeping in there. Anyways, well, there we go. But anyway, back to what I was doing. So now we've got our little checkbox there in the board settings. We have to actually make it do something. And so we've already got this board setting here, which is reset with host. There's one of those little capture card glitches there. So let's go back and have a look at the main software there. Wow. So we have a checkbox now that is config RTC disable. So in our main software here, we've got either get and set config, set current settings. Now this is where we actually set the interface to whatever is being set, if that makes sense. See, I'm just after seeing this scrolling through. There's audio range, there's Audi orange. But there you go. Reset with host and event hold. Here we are. So we're going to just duplicate this. So software. Yeah. Reset with host. What is this one called? RTC disable. And that, are we going to store that now? On the board itself, it's stored as a set of flags. So there's 1 byte, and it's a single bit in that byte. So I don't know if we need to do that here. Let's see. Do we do that for anything else? No, we're using things like that. Would the audio reaction? Yeah, that's completely independent of the OS. It works with any audio coming from the Amiga. So yeah, it does respond to game sounds as well. So yeah, it's part of, like, it's completely, the board is completely autonomous. The software is only for changing the settings, more or less. The only thing the software does is it shows the time on the little LCD and the time and date, and that's the only thing you need the actual OS running for. So if you run a game, the time stalls and it just stays put at whatever time you started the game, which can be a bit misleading, because I've been playing this for hours and it's still only 3 o'clock. No. But yeah, that's it. Otherwise, it's completely independent and it runs on its own thing. So straight from cold boot, you don't have to have any software loaded. It will, the LEDs will kick in and they'll do whatever you set them to do. Okay, so I think for this I'm going to store them as a separate variable. So we've got reset with host, and well, I didn't show to Dave Haney. It wasn't, well, I met Dave Haney. I think you were at the Amiga Ireland. That was Dave Haney was at, weren't you, Pred Zeta? Because I suppose because there was no lockdown by that point, it wasn't Solas wasn't a thing. Stopping time would be nice, yeah, for many reasons, not least because I would be super rich. Yeah. So RTC disabled. Now all my definitions are in another file. Let me see, settings. Where's my settings? So effect, strip, temp, fan settings. I see message level, board settings. Actually, I'm going to keep this struct the same. So I'm going to just call this flags. And then I'm going to define the bytes for these. Do I have byte definitions? No. Let's see. Not with house, reset with host. Reset with host. Come on. RTC disable is 10. So bit 1, bit 0, bit 1. Yeah. Yeah, that's so for the explosions and stuff. Yeah. Oh, that's cool, actually. Nice. Okay, so we're going to define some flags for this. So the board settings is just 1 byte and it contains 2 flags so far. Oh yeah. I'll have to try that. So we got 2 bits. 2 bits. Wrong mouse. And so set the check mark to. I think we can set this to any non-zero value. So what we'll just do is we'll AND that with Whoa. Bloody E key. And I'm kind of like, if I take it apart to clean it, it probably just needs cleaning because it works sometimes. If I take it apart to clean it, I might as well put a new membrane in it. And and so this, what this is doing is this is just using the same bite and just calling out individual bits inside that instead. Oh, glass. Jesus, Rob. Flags. There we go. Yeah, this keyboard actually has the rubber domes in it rather than the springs, and it is a lot nicer than the standard 1200 keyboard and the standard 500 and 2000 keyboard. It is a hell of a lot nicer, but the E key annoys me. But I think I am quite used to this Logitech one, even though it's a shit keyboard. That don't get me started on the problems with this Logitech keyboard. It's it's very annoying. But yeah, as Amiga keyboards go, this is one of the best. It's not as good as the mechanical ones that were on the 1000 and some of the early 500s, but of the kind of the common ones and all the 500, 600, the later 500, 600, 1200, this is the nicest because it's actually rubber domes rather than the springs, and it's quite good. I like it, except for the E key. Anyways, which reminds me, I must keep an eye out for there are PC Mitsumi keyboards you can get, and they're when they do come up, they're cheap because they're just an old PS2 keyboard. But they have the same rubber domes, and you can just strip them out and put them in an A1200 keyboard, and it makes it feel so much better. Worth looking for. Okay, so we're setting this based on these flags. So we're doing a bitwise and there, and that should be fine. That should be fine. And that's set current settings. Also get current settings should be there. Oh dear. Hey, hey Kareem, welcome in. How are you? Welcome in. Welcome along. Hello, hello. Were you at football earlier? I was not at football because I couldn't get the car or something. No, it was a miserable day out there for football, but yeah, I wasn't able to get there. So, oh dear. Bad, was it? Kareem's a colleague of mine from work who knows nothing about Amigas other than what he's heard me saying on these streams. And yes, I actually have one of his PCBs here. I have one of Kipper's PCBs, and I have a bag of switches, and I was kind of waiting because he was going to get a set of keycaps, but so you know I was kind of waiting on that. But I must put it together and just put some blank keycaps on it because see, probably nice. Yeah. The look can be a bit funny as well because you need to get the right keycaps for it, and I don't like the flat keycaps, as in the non-contoured keycaps, like you know the Amiga keyboard contours like that. Rasport actually sell them. Yeah, Kipper was making them, but there were a few prototypes out in the wild. I think Amiga Bill's one is a Kipper one, but yeah, Rasport I think are the one that you know that you can actually get. Oh dear. Yeah, you're gonna be dying tomorrow, Kareem. Yeah, it's hefty. It's hefty money. It's a complicated keyboard. Yeah, this Logitech keyboard I have on the PC is the Logitech clone of the brown switches, and they're nice, but the Logitech clone switches are shit, and they're just so annoying. They feel nice and they feel like the Cherry ones, the Cherry MX Browns, but the quality just isn't there. like, you know, they're getting missed keys, repeated keys, things like that. You know, it's just useless. But anyways, and that's a £120 keyboard. So, you know, €200 is expensive, but you could spend €200 on a PC keyboard without too much difficulty. Yeah, I have a Kipper. Yeah, like I said, I have the Kipper PCB there, and it's been my intention to try and see if I can get some RGB LEDs in there. Don't fucking quote me on that now. But Kareem, since you're here, I'll show you this. I don't know if you've seen it before. What was it? This. But these little Christmas lights that I have on my Amiga here, that's the software that I'm working on at the moment. Yeah, Irish LEDs. Yeah, I know you had to. You went an awful lot of the way out of your way to get that ST sorted, but it's cool. There you go. But anyways, back to what I was doing, which is that one. So, So we're setting the values there. Now we need to also get those values. We have to be able to read the values from the board, or from the get color settings, get current settings. Get current event, no, get primary color, get all settings maybe. Yes, get all settings. Board reset with host. So board how am I going to do this? Am I going to hard code bit offsets? Why not? Why not? Fuck it. Okay, so we're not going to. So we're going to or that. There you go again. Or. Let me think. That, and then we want to do this. Left shift 1. I think that should be it. So bit 0 is the bit 0 is the and that's not going to work because if it's a 0. So no, I have to do it the other way. Don't I have to do it the long way? Board flags. Reset with host. And to make it 0, it is Isn't that it? Inverse of that. Yeah. Something like that. And then we have to do the same thing with... Then we just copy that and do the same thing with... Oh yeah, reset. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's my E key again. Oh, it's not that. It is. Yeah, thank you. That's not the exclamation mark. That's C. It's just not, isn't it? What does it say about not? Inverts an operand. Yes. Not address or register. One more lower. Oh yes, because I copied it. Thank you. I'm not sure about that logic there. That might not work. We'll try it. Board flags and and this is going to be the reset with host. RTC disable. Let's try that. So it should give me errors actually. Oh yeah, I'm going to use it to find the errors. Yeah. What happened to this mod? It seems to be stuck. Okay. So this is where we're actually reading the settings from the board, because the actual settings for this, most of the software, is stored on the board itself. It's not stored in the software or on disk or anything like that. So when the software starts up, it has to read it from the board. So set flags. Cool. Let's see what's next. Where is it? Where's the next error? So we just need the flags. Don't need that, so we'll just print out the binary of the flags. It's enough for debugging. What the devil is this? Oh. Next one. And this is sending the data to the board. Flags. Yeah, so like a wireless USB keyboard of some sort. Yeah. What's this? Oh, this is reading in from the disk, and it's going to be writing to disk. It's going to have the same issue, isn't it? So that's it, outputting to a file. Surely that's it. Yep. Okay. So let's see if it works. Well, I'll just go down a little bit. Just show off the t-shirt since Cammy was admiring it earlier. Okay, so now let's see if the actual checkboxes work. Advanced configuration. Here's a board. Reset with host. So this setting was already there. So let's just set that. Apply current settings. Quit. And now we should be able to read those settings back again. Advanced configuration, board. No. What's going on? What's going on? If we switch them both on. Reset with host works. Okay, so did that just take that setting and change it back? Okay, so I think the settings are misaligned. They're one bit out. So watch this. I've saved it as RTC disabled, and watch this. I bet you it comes up as reset with host. Yeah. So they're getting swapped. Which is fine. Which is fine. Is it fine? Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check that advanced configuration. So board is saying reset with host. Save complete config to also typing a slight angle. So let me see. Strip, style, style, style. Board 0 and 0. Why is it saving 0? Reset with host is on there. So get current settings. Oh, it was in get all settings, wasn't it? So if that's set, because we didn't change that constant. Board. Okay, I've tried to. I meant to change that mod a while ago. I'm going to change it now. What the hell? RTC disable. That was what happened. Let's try it now. See what happens. Come on. Board. Reset with host is saved okay. Let's see. Apply current settings. Now, oh yeah, what I can actually do is I can reconnect, and that will read the settings again. Okay, that's right. Let's swap it around, see if that works. Reconnect. That looks good. That looks good. It seems to be setting them. Just for pig iron, I'm going to quit and rerun it. Run. Yeah, okay, so that seems to be saving those two settings to the board and reading the back properly. That's good. That's good. Okay, I can do that. I can. It's working. I think. Now, to see if it actually is working. If it actually is doing what it's supposed to do in the firmware. Okay, so yeah, I said a little while ago we're going to go and look at the PC firm or the firmware on the board itself, and I'll show you what it looks like from that side. Now I have to move. OBS goes over there. So what am I doing here? Oh no, not that one. That one, yeah. Okay, so this is what the software looks like from the Solas board itself. This is the firmware that runs on the Solas board. You can see here I'm quite tight on space. I've got 191 bytes of RAM free, 10k of program space free, but I'm running quite tight on RAM because there's 191 bytes free, but stack and stuff like that, there's a few other bits come out of that, and that's a bit, you know, I have to be careful there and not use too much of it. But okay, so what it's doing is it's reading the settings from the flash, and basically RTC disabled 1, RTC disabled is 0. So this just sets the pin. So the RTC disable. There's more of your ors there, Dave. Oh, where is it? Dun, dun, dun. So it's port C bits .rc5, and I know that's a spare pin on the chip. So what I've done is I've just you can listen back to the recording later. What I'm doing is I'm that's a spare pin that was on the chip. That was I was going to use it for what's it called, port, for a JTAG port on the board to be able to program other peripherals and primarily the Terrible Fire cards. And that was kind of the idea because I had some spare pins, but that never really materialized because I think I'm basically out of RAM to be able to do that. And so now I've got 5 pins left to use. So one of them was used already, and I'm going to, in a future version of the software, I'm going to introduce interrupt-driven communications to make it faster and more reliable. So there's an interrupt pin, and now there's also so I've used another pin now for the I'm pointing at the screen here thinking you can see where I'm pointing, for the RTC disable. So on older firmware that should default to 0, which should not disable the RTC. That should enable it, and it should let it just work. So what we're going to do is what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back so I can see my screen. I can't see the screen. Oh, yeah, well, okay. That one. Okay, so this all seems to be working. We're going to go to the advanced configuration. We're going to not disable the RTC support for the moment. Apply the settings and save to flash. Now, I need to. Was it Rammstein samples in that song? Was it in that mod? I'm not overly familiar with their work, I'll have to say, but so some of the songs are good. But yeah, I have to install the clock module now, and because I just noticed that it's not on it, and we'll have a look and see if it can actually detect it, and then if I switch that, that it doesn't detect it. So let's give that a go. Let's see. Oh, should have shown you that. So there's clock module in there now. I've modded it with a bigger battery because the 1220 cells that come on these modern modules, they don't last pissing time. Like they, you know, you're changing them every few months. So has my, oh yeah, it's just moved slightly. My overscan, I was like, what? But I know this is set up for settlers or for the game, so I know it fits that window exactly. So I'm not going to go changing it. Okay. Now. So we disabled that in, oh, I never compiled that. Sure I didn't. Well, I'm going to have to compile that software. So it's there to run. Source control. It's in the right place. I'm in two minds whether to apologize or not. Do you mean the Amiga desktop? Or do you mean like my actual desk over there or whatever? Is that better? This is what lungs. Is this? That's Deadpool. But yeah, okay, I see where you're going with the lungs thing. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, yes, so I just need to compile this. I was checking where great executable. Is it in the right place? It is. Yeah. Yeah. I made that actually as part of a tutorial of one of the meets there, the one that was over on the East Coast, over your direction, Andrew. Yeah, especially with 3.1.4, without the extra blitter patches and things like that, it's quite strong on the chip RAM usage. So I was, you know, even though I've got a few colors going on, I think it's a 16 or 32 color screen, and you know, I'm only using 4 colors for the backdrop or something like that, 4 or 6 colors. So yeah, it was basically just kind of, you know, I think it looks good. So I leave that one on it. So I got a couple of minimalist backdrops that look good. Graham's great for them. Graham has loads of them. He does. And yeah, so that should do it. So that should now be. Is that the right version now? Where's the about? Yeah. Yeah. Why is that? Did I not update the version? Or is that the wrong version that I have on my desktop? Oh, I didn't update the version. There. Oh, is he? Is he? Well, that's lovely. Sure, I can I can catch up on that later on. Oh my god, this mouse. I'm using ball mouse for the Amiga. I need to clean it out. also need to sort that out because I have adapters and all that kind of stuff for a nice optical mouse. This is kind of a temporary setup that has lasted many years, as happens. Okay, so let's have a look at this. This is the software. I could have just checked in here to know I have the new version because it has this. So we've got RTC support disabled. We've got reset with host enabled. Apply. Let's save that to Flash, which stores the settings. And let's have a look. So we're not disabling the thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this to check. Oh, you can't see that. I can't see that either. That's mildly annoying. It's okay, I got this. Does that work? Oh, something funny with the color there. But it's close enough. You get the idea. Let's see. Do we have a battery backed up? Oh, no, we don't. Oh. Why is that then? Because we're not disabling. Maybe is my logic reversed now? No clock detected. That's... Okay, so like I said, I haven't tested this firmware yet. And it's showing. All good. Oh no. So yeah, this is just on the edge of the capture card's abilities. Come on. Oh, wrong cable. Too many cables. There we go. Now, so source control, disable RTC support. So now if I do that and save that setting, now do we have, oh, for fuck's sake. Sometimes it's so good at that. Let's see. No clock detected. Oh no, something's gone wrong here. I think it's time to get out the multimeter and see what's going on. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't think it actually. Oh, I do know what's wrong. That setting is only applied when the board reboots from cold. When it loads the settings from Flash first. So I'm going to show you what's going to happen here. We're going to reset this. I'm just going to check the source code now in a second and see. But I'm pretty sure I don't have anything that actually applies the setting, so I can add that, actually. Oh, Jesus, am I going to be able to see it with this? This is brutal. can't see whether they're on or off. So I'm going to switch that off. I can't see whether... Don't make me change the cables again. Ah. Okay, so it's not disabled. Apply current settings. Save to flash. And now... Oh yeah, now what I'm going to do is we're going to reset altogether. Cold boot. While it's starting up, we can have a look at this stuff here. What we're doing is we are... This code is quite messy, so apologies. It's all very much in one file, and it's a big, huge, excuse me, big, huge nested loop of rubbish. Where am I? Main. So when we get a command, when a command is completed, here we go. This is where it would be. Pattern LCD. So there's nothing for, it doesn't apply anything when the configuration is changed. So this is what happens if there's an incoming buffer. Setting up fan temp config, audio board config, stores the flags. And command done. So it just stores the settings. It doesn't actually act on those settings, which kind of makes sense from the perspective of the other things. But you know, the other settings kind of like they only apply at a certain point in time. So when a certain event is happening, and then they're read and they're acted upon. But this kind of needs to take effect straight away, because the Solas software isn't actually aware when the RTC is addressed. It doesn't have that kind of oversight. It only sets. It basically switches a little gate on and off. That's all. So, so let's have a look. Let's see now. Oh, you prick. So we've rebooted. Let's see if we've got a battery backed up clock. No! Oh, what is going on? Time for the multimeter. Hooey. Okay, so the disable flag is switched off, which means that RTC enable should be 0. And RTC enable is this pin down here. Oh, it's underneath the bloody thing. Where have I got that going to? Let me see. So I just have to look at some stuff here. Pin 14 of this chip down here. Okay. Out comes the multimeter. So that's 0. And pin 15 is 5 volts, so pin 15. What am I doing with pin 15? I mean, that should work. Says every software developer ever. What's going on? Yeah. Oh dear. After all that now. So, well, the thing is that I can read that setting, I can read that pin and see at least if the software is changing that that pin. Now, actually, I'm going to switch back to my other cable. Because I forgot, it'll read the configuration when you reset the board, even if it's not a cold boot. I think it should do. Let's have a look. Advanced configuration. Let's put this down here. Board. Disable RTC support. Oh, hold on a second. My RTC enable is 0. That should be 1. Oh no, sorry, it's enable low. So sorry, yeah, it should be 0. So we're going to turn that on. Send that, and now reset the board. Okay, reset complete. Is that after switching that setting off? Send. Save to flash. And now let's see what happens. Reset. Okay, now it seems to have saved the setting. I'm going to check the setting on my multimeter. And now it's set to 1. So that pin is working. So pins 14 and 15 are both high. Is that right? Is that reasonable? 14 and 15. So when 15 goes low, should just pass through when that one's low. Yeah, okay. What's this guy doing? High as well. Right, for bug shooting, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that setting take effect straight away. What other software can I do to tell me if there's a real-time clock enabled? I can't remember. I'm sure there's something around that I could use that doesn't mean switching cables. But anyways, right, we know that the pin from the chip that we need to switch on and off is switching on and off with the software. So that much is done and dusted. Let me go and let's have a look at this code and see what let's add something to it. Board config. So when we start up first, all we're doing is where is it? This is the code for switching on and off that pin. And I know I could, and I have thought about doing it in a different, you know, all in one line kind of thing. But just for this ease of debugging and stuff like that, for now, I'm going to keep it like this. Board flags and RTC disable. So we'll just add that once the received command is done. So it's what is it? Board config, board settings. Can't remember. So case event strip fan temp config audio config board config status command done. So once a command is done, then we execute this stuff. And if it was board config case LCD, all the LCD stuff, pattern event. Okay, let's go in here. Case board config, and we just throw that all in there as well. That might be it. That should apply that setting every time the board config is updated. So that'll switch the pin on and off straight away, and that just makes it easier for debugging purposes. So let's build that, and then we can throw it on my little programmer. What I'm going to do here is, because programming it with a programmer is much faster but also wipes all the settings, I'm just going to open this software while I'm programming it. Okay, build successful. Now where's my programmer gone? For those of you familiar with it, I'm using the cheap little mini pro with the in-circuit programming function enabled. Let's see, can you see it there? That guy there. Oh, I've disconnected now. You might as well see the whole thing. That guy, but see the little ribbon cable coming at the top? That's the in-circuit programming add-on. And so I'm just right at the limit of my USB cable. That's why it's kind of balanced there. And that's it. Let's see. Let's program it now and see what happens. So that when this should stop the LEDs from working. Yeah, that's programming. Sorry, I realize you guys can't see the programming thing. It's on a different monitor. Verifying. That's it. Now, And we apply that, and that should start the LEDs again. Yeah. Okay. So now we change this and apply it. The pin should change straight away. Let's see, can I balance my multimeter there? Can you see that? Let's see. This is quite the fuckery, but here you can have a look. So that's basically high. Got 4.88 volts there. Now switch that off, apply, and it goes down to 0. So that pin, apply, comes back up. So that pin is working. That's doing what it should. So why is it not working with the controller? I know I'm so paranoid about it, and kind of like every time I do it, I'm like, I'm gonna fuck it up. I'm gonna ruin something. I'm gonna short something, because I have done in the past, and I have not learned my lesson. But okay, the pin is definitely working. Why is it not doing the business with the real-time clock? Because let me see. I'm just gonna go and set up a new thing here. And what we're going to do is we're going to where is it? There we go. So there's KiCad. Slightly chopped off, but okay. Oh yeah, just because I'm using a 1920 by 1200 monitor, so you're missing a little bit at the top there. No worries. This is what I'm looking at. This is the Solas schematic. Here's the business end. So this is the chip. This is our line here. This is what we're switching on and off, the RTC enable line. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I was trying to, yeah, wrong monitor. Let's put that over this way a bit. So that, let's get rid of that. Okay. And let's put that over there. Grant. Okay, so now we can see a bit better. So this is what we're doing. This is the line here. RC5, pin 43 comes down here. That's the spare pin header. So we're taking that real-time clock enable. We're feeding that to over here where it's selecting this. Now, when these two are 0, that means that this basically takes on the same function as this pin. So this is the chip select from the computer. This is what it's using to say, I want to read or write to the real-time clock. This pin here, that's straight from the clock port. Comes in here. If these two are 0, then this pin will do exactly what this pin does. If either of these are 1, or both of them are 1, this will just sit there. This will be an invisible pin, and it'll float high, and then because this resistor will pull it up. So that's just the chip select buffer. Chip select buffered. This resistor here will pull it high. I'm going to check that that's doing that. So what pin is that now? That is pin 1 of this small little AND gate over here. and that's high. Okay, and that should be high. That should be high. Go back to here. When we turn that off and apply, it should still be high. And the other pin should be low. It's high. And high. What's the second pin on that? Spare. Oh no, sorry, the second pin should be high as well. So those pins only go low to enable the buffers. That's fine. So they like it. The two of them are high now. That's fine. That's what we want. That should be high regardless, because it'll only ever go low if these two are 0 and that's 0. So let's just check if they're both 0. What are they? They are pins 13 and 14. Is low. 13 is low. Oh. They're both low. This should follow this. Oh, this is the fun stuff, Andrew. This is where it's at, like. Just what the hell is going on? Am I shorting something? Is it in right? Hum. What is going on? What is going on? Like, it's not complicated stuff. This is simple stuff. And we know the pin is working. So we can set this to 1 or 0. So 1 basically just means that this doesn't do anything. Or that this is basically doesn't do anything. Doesn't follow that. 0 means it's following that. Fine. We can set this to 1 or 0. We can see that that's working. What am I missing? What am I missing? Or to see, yes, we know this is working. This is working. We can read that. That's fine. Well, it's reading 2019 because it's not reading the RTC. I'm going to move this over here a little bit just for the quickness of testing. What I'm going to do is set this monitor to the Amiga so I can switch between them without having to swap bloody cables. Now, okay, that's better. Oh, a nice and responsive mouse as well. No lag. Okay. Let me see what's happening now. Advanced configuration. So that pin is low. Pin 15 is high, but we don't mind that. That's what we're expecting. Yeah. Pin 14 is low, pin 13 is low. Okay. Let's just see what it's doing. And you're not going to believe me because I've disconnected the monitor. It's fucking working. Let's hold on. Now, it's reading 2004 because probably there was some garbage going on there or something like that. I don't know, let's set it properly and we'll save that into the chip there. So now Hmm. Oh God. Back to swapping cables. So board, disable RTC support. Well, actually, you know what? No, we don't want to do that yet. We won't apply that now. Let's see. Did it actually read it? It read that time properly when it booted. 1st January 16, and it's been a minute or so since that happened. Yeah, fine, grand, we're happy. So let's disable that. That shouldn't have an effect on the current time because that's already loaded when the machine boots. But when it reboots again, let's do an L reboot. And see what happens. What do we think? No, it's detected. Did I save that to the flash? Oh, I didn't save the setting. And it is a function of Solas that I have switched on, that the Solas board itself reboots when the Amiga reboots. I'm going to switch that off. Oh, Midone, thanks very much for dropping in. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you know it. It's always good fun, isn't it? It's always good fun after the fact. Good night. So let's have a look here. I bet you I haven't saved it to the firmware. I have not. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to switch that off because that might be also fecking things up for me. Okay, so now we've sent the settings, save the settings. Pull the cable. Hot swapping cables live on stream. It's never, it's asking for trouble, isn't it? Oh, no. No clock detected. Okay. So we've switched off the clock detection. Let's see if we can switch it back on again. Oh, no, not that one, that one. So, apply current settings. So now, go. We should have access to the clock again. Ah, there we go. And it has kept the time, 4 minutes and something. So, there we go. So I don't know what was wrong there. It's possibly just because I've got too many cables in and amongst everything there. That is just something wasn't quite fitting right. It wasn't quite making contact. Too many cables. Yeah, I think that's it. We need to do a bit more testing, but that is the principle. It seems to be reading correctly. It's it's reading the proper time. Well, it's reading what was set. Let's just try with a cold boot just for pig iron. And then I'll probably call it a night. So, there's not a coin cell on the Solas itself. What there is the coin cell on the real-time clock module. So there's one there, and that's for saving the time. But the Solas, the settings and stuff in Solas are saved into Flash. So you've got like, I don't know, a kilobyte of Flash or something like that, which is kind of like what the CD32 has for save games. But it doesn't need power. It's limited in write cycles, like you can only write to it 10,000 times or something like that. Yeah, so this is what this whole thing is about, is because because there's no RTC module on the TF1260, I added support to it on Solas. And it should be just a straight through thing, but it was interfering when you had a real-time clock on the accelerator and on Solas. Or no, it interfered even if you didn't have it on Solas, if there was on certain accelerators when you have a real-time clock module built in, like the Blizzard 1230. So that was causing interference because Solas would react to the clock address and flood the board with nonsense or with whatever was in this chip. So within the RTC on the board. No, absolutely, you should do, and this will mean it will. It'll work anyway, but this will just mean it has the option of working with the Blizzard 1230, which was the one that had issues. So there you go. So I'm after cold booting. Oh no, clock is gone. What did I set the time? What did I set the thing for? So let's see, what have I got here? Battery backed up clock. No clock detected. I can't remember if that's right or not. Maybe it was just random that it worked. Damn it, celebrating too early, I think. There's no FPU needed for Solas, but you can tell Stephen otherwise. Initially there was, because the software I was compiling, the software when I was compiling it with Blitz at the time needed an FPU, so there was no way around it. So it actually did need an FPU, but now it doesn't. It doesn't need it. But there you go. So I'm just going to check this and just see what it says. Board. Oh, it is set to disabled. Okay, so maybe it is working. Apply. Save. I'm going to try cold boot again. So that was it starting up with it disabled. And now we'll try it with it not disabled. Yeah, well, yeah. Recorded for future posterity. Okay. So let's check this again just to make sure. Board. So the setting is kept. It has saved. It is still there. So now, I'll have to figure out a solution to this. Sometimes it works, and I don't know if it's just because of the way I've got the screen mode adjusted or what. Or maybe it's just the Amiga test kit. There you go. It saved the time. I'm happy enough with that. I am very happy with that, actually. So, there we go. Happy out. Yeah, it works. It works. Just for the last test, I might put in my Blizzard 1230 just to make sure. Oh, and one other thing I need to do is test to make sure the clock ports, the rest of the clock ports, are actually working. So, we'll do that first. This is where it gets even more fun, even more cables and stuff. I better switch it off for that. What kind of clock port stuff do I have? Whoops, cable isn't long enough. Oh, I'll show you this. No, keep doing that. Oh no, that is the one I want, isn't it? Yeah, that'll do. So, this is a serial port, clock port adapter. So I'm going to stick that on there. Try not to squish any other cables. And so I should be able to open the serial port when I switch this on. Ooh, dark. Let's switch that back. Okay, so I have this Hypercom terminal set up, ready to go. I think that just switched screen mode, has it? What the hell is that? Okay, that's weird. It says I don't know if it's opening a weird screen mode or what the story is. It is just opening a weird screen mode. Because it's open in the background, but it has opened, so it is able to open the device. I'll just have to sort out a better way of doing this, maybe with the HDMI adapter. But is that going to work now? Come on. rather annoying because it's a sort of a split screen mode, where it's, you know, 2 different resolutions, and it's just, no, not having it. Okay, you'll have to take my word for it. I can't even see that now, so I can't fix it. But that is opened, so the clock port works. Now that should have come back now. Sorry, so you guys can't see it. Oh, ho hum, ho hum. Oh, it's been a dick. Let's try a different one. No, the capture cards just decided to give up altogether now. God damn it. No, not playing ball. Yay. Okay, we'll go back to this anyway. I must have, just as I was talking about hot swapping cables on stream. I don't know. Right. Anyways, you kind of saw it working there in amongst all that. I think I've just upset the poor thing by throwing 2 different resolutions at it. Do you know what? That capture card, I managed to crash the capture card with A-Train when I was doing a stream and I was playing A-Train. And A-Train has a funky interlace mode that isn't a standard interlace mode. So it's half system friendly, but I think it's making the interlace mode up on the fly and it doesn't really conform to any standard. And as soon as that went into the capture card died and wouldn't produce any image over HDMI or anything until I cold booted the PC. So I literally crashed the capture card just by feeding it this custom interlace signal. So yeah, so I bet you it's something like that. Sorry, but hey, look, you saw it working. You saw it working more or less in and amongst all that stuff. So I'm happy enough with that. So we might leave it there. Is there anyone streaming who we might go and raid? Let me see. What's going on Twitch? Twitch is a bit quiet tonight. Who's on? Any suggestions? Angry Ginge? No. Let's see. Juji Pella's streaming, so let's just go and raid him anyway. See what's he playing. I've no idea. And it's a while since I've actually dropped in on him. Let's see what he's doing. Oh, supercars. Oh no, it's a video of supercars. Okay, I see what's going on. Okay, well let's drop in on him anyway. Where's my control thing gone now? Okay. Thanks very much. Thanks very much for dropping in, Javier. It's good to see you again. And let's go and raid Ugipella. Ugipella. Okay, right. Yeah, cool. Well, listen, thank you very much, everyone, for dropping in with that. I think, compared to some streams, it's gone all right. But yeah, it's thanks for the company, and thanks for pointing out all the typos and stuff like that. Saved me tearing my hair out. And yeah, cool. All right, listen, thank you very much, guys, and good night.
Varo Aku, Arena 5 pelin. Arena 5. Arena 5. Suomalaisen Arena-tietokoneen 5. osa. Pelissä pelaaja on gladiaattori, joka on valmentaa. Tästä käydä kuvittaispaikasta nimeltään Riimu Kallio. Eikä. En oo koskaan pelannut. Ei helvetti. Suomalaiset teki kyllä hienoja pelejä oikeesti siihen. Katsotaan jotain kuvaa tästä just. Oho. Se on vähän niinku tämmönen fantasia-setti, eiks ookin? Ite pelailin pikkuina sillä paskalla PC:llä, ei ollut netti, niin ei ollut ainoa pelit. Eli se on sen verran vanha peli jo, että se on niinku jo... Se on jo ollut niinku... Se on ollut siis jo vanha... Onko se ollut vanha peli jo silloin, kun sä olit nuori vai... Milloin tää oli? Evening, Daedalus, thanks for the raid. Sorry, I spoke in Finnish. We are watching some retro games. We just finished our Tarkov session today. Oot sä Aku käynyt yhtään nyt runnomassa Sun pitäis Aku käydä... Se puhutkin. Ei kun Dressmanita on oikein eri tyyppi, sori. Sekasti nimimerk. Niin Aku, oot sä yhtään käynyt runnot mitä se on? Äskeistä Lexos Crazyä. Sun pitää mennä sinne nyt oikeesti. No joo, ei, siis onhan se nyt mähinää oikeesti. Onhan se mähinää. Siis totta kai sä kuolet tolleen niinku mäkin. Joka ikiseen vittu tyhmää juttuun, mutta... On siellä ainakin mähinää. Kyllä mä ainakin yritän sitä vielä tässä ilman mitään angstia.